And actually, no, you're not. I'm not going to show you that just yet. To the news. Ooh, okay. This is the only thing I checked. Braver Together, BTS, Braver Together stands. The whole kingdom has turned purple for the crossover. Okay, so the Army's Wishes, I believe they call themselves the Armies. That's the group. Um, we get to meet all of them. They'll have special rarity and use Army Wishes skills. The descriptions, thanks to the Army's support, they are safeguarded. So the fans basically jump in front of them and then take any hits. They are completely invulnerable. It's actually just due to the magic. They don't actually jump in front. It's just that they wish so hard and give them so much love and support that they become immune to attacks. So, because they're like, oh yeah, you can't just have BTS get in a street brawl and fight and then just get beat up. You can't have them battle in the game, but you can unlock them and put them in battle, mind you. Um, so you can do that. Um, But like the Disney cookies, they can't actually take any damage. They don't have any actual attacks or stats or anything else like that. Apparently, use their skill for periodic healing and providing immunity to stun and debuff. So basically, they are all support. They help support the other cookies. They give them a bonus. If somebody is hurt, they get a shield and some more resists. And they also get stun resistance, which is something that only Cocoa Cookie had, which unfortunately I think kind of devalues Cocoa Cookie. But again, if you don't get the BTS cookies during their event, then Cocoa still is the main one who has it. Safeguard. Cookies can't be attacked, nor can they be defeated. So the BTS is just invulnerable. They're completely invulnerable. Now, because this is devsisters, um, you might be worried that they're going to end up having insane power creep. How the heck are you supposed to beat an entire team that is completely invulnerable? What happens if they use it? Well, don't worry. They did manage to balance this a little bit better. The survival of the cookies is based on everyone who is not a BTS cookie, aka anybody who doesn't have the safeguard skill. And you can only put one of them on your team. So you can put one member from BTS on your team. They can't be attacked. I don't think they can even do damage. Again, similar to Coco. Um, they just provide buffs. So they provide buffs. If the entire rest of the team dies, then the BTS member just it doesn't count. They don't. The Cake Witch will send an evil cake army, and you can go up Sonic the Hedgehog using buffs that Mickey Mouse has given you to increase your coins from battle will help BTS Cookie with fighting in the main story mode. But of course, if once Sonic and Tails die, BTS just does not count. She just will decide, no, I'm not gonna fight BTS. They're my jam because the Cake Witch listens to BTS. Apparently, I don't know if that'll actually be in the story for funnies. I'm just gonna say it's canon now, and if it turns out to be real, that's even better. But still, yeah. So the forces of darkness will not harm BTS, but they will join you in battle, which is more than what the Disney cookies did, and that's pretty awesome. So I get to send BTS into battle. They can only be obtained through this. Um, Now, this is something that was confusing to me. BTS cookies will receive today's bounties buffs. Soul Stones and Soul Cores required to upgrade them, and other special cookies promotions will be adjusted as followed. Previously, a total of 270 Soul Stones was needed to promote to Tier 5. With the release of the BTS cookies, same number is needed, but that's enough to ascend. So rather than having 270, they basically decreased the amount that's needed to max out the cookies to tier 5, and then that amount will then go towards ascending them to make them even stronger, which is really cool. Um, So they basically they halved the amount that you would need to fully upgrade them, and that is really awesome because it takes into account the ascension feature. With this, they'll be delivering extra soul stones for the existing special cookies depending on their grade. This one, this one was very frustrating. You got mileage points equaling the cookie's soul stones up to 20 if they were tier 3. So, me having gotten Sonic, I just got some mileage points. Tier 4, because apparently they don't want you to have half. So I had like, I don't remember if I had half of the soul stones for Sonic, but hypothetically, if I had gotten like, if I was 20 away to leveling up Sonic to another tier, and then they basically gave 20 extra soul stones, I could have gotten him up another tier. But they refuse to have like partial soul stones, like what you could do with the Hello Kitty event when they gave out those special potions and then never gave them out again. Where hypothetically you could give them to Hello Kitty and Mimi because it was a generic special potion that could be used on anybody who had the special tier, the special grade. And you could do that because if you earned like 2 out of the 3, you could keep that, and hypothetically you could level up Mimi or Hello Kitty even further, even now. I've just held on to it as a special memento to remember that they actually did that. So they are very much against doing that, and I didn't get to the 4th tier as Sonic. If I got to the 4th tier as Sonic, they would have given Sonic an extra promotion and made him boost to tier 5. And if you had him at tier 5, you would have gotten 100 in order to ascend you to tier 5. Perfect. So you would have been able to ascend Sonic. But honestly, considering that there's 10 grades now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then Ascension 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what they should have done was just double whatever grade you had. So if you had 1 star, you don't even get a measly amount of mileage. They cut down the number by half, so they should just double what you have. If you got 1 star's worth, they should double it, so now you're at grade 2 for Sonic and Tails. If you have 3 like I had, that would be grade 6, essentially Ascension level 1. If you had tier 4, then you'd be at like Ascension level 8, and 5 would still be the same. So if you're at tier 4, you can get it to 5. If you're 5, you go up like 5 other levels. It doesn't seem fair in the slightest. But again, like, they could have just not done anything. They could have just not done a single thing. But like, all of the effort, because I wasn't able to do as much of the Sonic event because I started playing when the Sonic event came out, and I spent money on that. I spent money on those soul stones that they took away from me and converted to mileage, and I would have been able to upgrade an extra tier. I still use Sonic. And this is something that just by changing the numbers, they didn't even have to mess with the Sonic stuff. You know, they just had to change the numbers. And like, they're already giving you the free bonus Ascension. But if they doubled it, because basically they halved the number that's required, so it would make sense that you just double it. Just simply double whatever you have, and that would be fair. Instead, they have this random system where, oh, if you get 3, then like you get some mileage, and Tails, I got nothing for Tails. But there's no way to make them stronger after the fact. There isn't even a way to buy generic like special cookie upgrades. Like that isn't even a thing that you can get. And Oven Break had that eventually, and then they never had it again. And I regret not buying the package that would have gotten me like 5 of them, even though it was like $10 for 5, which was ridiculous. But still, like, they never did it again, and that's a fantastic way. Not only does it make them money, but like, it's a way for people who already did the events to be able to get a bonus, and you don't have to pay extra or grind extra for the item if you did it during the event, and you can't get them after the fact, so you just can't use it on a special cookie unless you already have some. You know, just have that be the rule. Instead, rather than making a system that made sense, so it's not even like they completely ignored Sonic and Tails, which would be frustrating. You know, it would be like, oh, well, they're abandoning the event. But in that regard, I could kind of understand it. No, they went to the effort, because they're awesome, to rectify the past now that they adjusted it and made it much more fair and less insane, and also with the gameplay mechanics that they've adjusted. But I paid money for the Sonic event, that they took away the stuff that I paid for and then gave me some mileage in return. And now, because like if I had those soul stones, I could have upgraded Sonic with the soul stones they gave me. I could have been at tier 4, you know? And obviously I would have gotten at tier 4 because of it. I wouldn't have been able to get the benefit for tier 4, but I would have gotten an even stronger Sonic, which is what I would have wanted. Just double what we have, for Pete's sakes. And what's even worse is that they could still implement that, because, oh, you get 4, you can upgrade to tier 5. Well, guess what? Just double what you have. Double what you have. Just double it, so if you have tier 1 Sonic, get to tier 2. You know? Because it costs half. Yeah, maybe. I know the reason why they're doing it. It's because the way that they did the adjustments, um, it's not exactly half, so they would technically be giving you like either more or less soul stones, but it is effectively cut in half, because you would have needed like that 270 to upgrade them to the other ascension level, and here they just made it reasonable. So just double it, please, Dev Sisters. And if you just double it, I would have preferred doubling it over the mileage. That would have been so much cooler of a move, because that's what makes sense. You have the tier, you got rid of the other soulstone, so you already gypped people of that, and for goodwill, for otherwise you could let people keep the mileage that you have, because people probably spent it already, unless you're like me and you hold on to a pile of extra mileage. Just do that. It's so frustrating. Because it's like, oh, well, guess what? You paid a lot of money? Well, guess what? You didn't pay even more than a lot of money, so now you don't get your things upgraded. Like, I spent like $60, which is the most that I've ever spent. That was enough for a full game on that Sonic event, for a proper like Switch game. And I did it because I loved this. I was excited for the Sonic event. I did that. Uh, I decided to splurge. I've never spent that much ever on an app game before, or since. And every so often I'll buy like the Kingdom Pass, because I'll do the Google Play rewards and save up, or use Google Play points and stuff to occasionally get stuff in the game, because I like this game. And they're gonna do you like that, and it's so frustrating. This episode was just spent on me ranting about the previous Sonic event. I apologize. Anyway, they have a pile of other cool things. There's all the BTS characters get 21 costumes total, so like 3 for each of the 7, I think. They'll have special rarity. The costumes are not available for Rainbow Cubes extra space in the regular costume gacha. Obtain them through the crossover gacha and the crossover mileage shop only. So that works like the Disney event. BTS themed decors, also have a whole bunch of those. There's a pile of other BTS things, and that's pretty cool, yada yada, other things like that. Basically, I kept the mileage over here. First off, I'm annoyed because they said Season 1 of Duskgleam Sea. I thought they were going to roll over. I thought maybe the keys would roll over. I didn't have time to use all of them up. No, they got converted into a paltry amount of coins. And then here, special cookie upgrade expenses adjusted. Claim your reward. 800. I get 800 instead of upgrading Sonic to Ascension Tier 1 and Tails to Tier 4. I have avoided claiming it out of annoyance. I also miss my Duskgloom's key, my Duskgloom keys, because I thought they would carry over. I liked that event, and I'm very sad that it's gone, because it was so much fun. And I granted that one is on me. I didn't have enough time to use all of them up, and I was holding on and I was saving them up because it was important. I was able to use like 20 of them because I had 70, but I wanted to do more. Life came up. I had to do other important things. I got a flu shot. I cleaned the gutters. I had other adult responsibilities. So I messed up on that. And hey, it's better than just having it disappear. I'm okay with losing the Duskgloom keys. I mean, I'm not. I wish you kept them in your inventory, which would mean that Duskgloom event was going to be coming back. But I can understand that, you know? That's just kind of the way that it goes. And other event items being converted over, that's just fine. I don't mind that. The Sonic thing, I do mind, and I'm very annoyed by. More annoyed than I really should be, but I spent money, and it feels like I was gypped retroactively. I felt gypped at the time, but like they're fixing things now, so it's not even like they. This is the time to fix things, and they didn't do a good job. Like I spent a lot of money on this. Was I supposed to spend? I spent an exorbitant amount of money on this. I rarely ever. Most of the time when I buy things, it's for other people. Most of the stuff that I have are just gifts from other people. I rarely actually buy stuff for myself. You know, it's most of the things that I have are because people have been so kind and have given me gifts or like little party favors and stuff that I've gotten over the years, or like little trinkets that I've picked up. You know, sometimes I'll go shopping over at like Michael's, and I'll see all of the cute little like miniatures, and other times I'll make miniatures. Sometimes I'll get stuff for myself when I'm at a store when I really like a thing, but I rarely ever get stuff that's just like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm gonna just pay for this instead. Normally, I'm happy with the games that I have. I play them, or I try to play the games that I have to completion, or I get the most that I can out of them. I'll go for free games as well, and I'll watch some Let's Plays of other games that I couldn't buy anyway. And then, but I could still afford like something a little bit cheaper, like some merch regarding it. There are things that I haven't gotten myself, but I love very much through Let's Plays. I was able to afford that, you know. Yeah, most of the stuff that I have are just because people have been very kind to me, and for gift giving seasons, it's like, well, I want to give stuff to people. There are some people who were mandatory gift giving things, and it wasn't necessarily out of a desire to give gifts, but it was just, this is mandatory gift giving time. You have to spend a certain amount of money on them, or else you don't love them. Very frustrating. I would much rather just a small homemade thing. Uh, or even just a pat on the back instead, which would just feel more genuine. I'd want a gift to just feel genuine, you know? So I spent money on that, you know? I rarely, I pretty much never end up spending on any other app games. And I splurged on the Sonic event, and they made it a lot more reasonable retroactively. And because I didn't spend like $200 supporting the game, which I've already supported, excuse me, uh, I get a paltry amount of mileage instead of getting perfect 5. I don't even want the tier 5 ascension. I got Sonic to level 3. That's what I was able to do during the event. It was a lot to try and get in, and then they took away my extra soul stones. I would have been just fine not having that rounded down to a 0. And it's like, we keep both of them. It's not even like keeping the half or whatever amount of soul stones were needed part of the way, because again, they could have added in a generic soul core for special cookies later, so that you could top them off later, you know. And that's a great way that they could earn money. Or you could have it be a bonus side thing that's only unlockable if maybe you have special cookies in your inventory, you know. It only would serve to help make them money if I wanted to upgrade them after the event, and they choose not to do it. They took away the souls. That's, was it in their contract that you couldn't have a partially upgraded cookie like the way that these cookies are? No, they had to get rid of them for some reason. And then when they deliver the extra soul stones worth of mileage, they revoke it. It's so stupid. It's so, so stupid. And I am very annoyed. Anyway, to the BTS event. Let's look at the cool thing.